I think the World War I movie, 1917, is basically a microcosm about the experience of living one lifetime. At the beginning, like at the end, we see a soldier leaning against a tree, taking a nap at the edge of a very quiet field. And in between these moments, throughout the great story of everything that happens, is the example of one lifetime taking place. Now, while we're watching this, I think there could be three things that are happening, two of which are probably obvious, one of which is not. The first thing is that we're watching a great movie. Great acting, great directing, great cinematography, music, checks all the boxes. The second thing is that we're clearly watching a movie about heroism. The two men that set out on this journey to get a message to the front line to save 1,600 British soldiers from walking into a German trap is inspiring. It's the epitome of what we think of when we use the word hero. But then there's a third thing happening right under our noses, perhaps the thing less talked about or even frowned upon. Why are these two people being asked to do this in the first place? In the moment that these two soldiers are asked by the general to save 1,600 British soldiers, they're put into a position where the only answer they can give is yes. And in the moment, I think it's a fair question to ask. Have we collectively and individually failed them as a society? How did they get into this predicament in the first place? In the moment that they have to save 1,600 lives, they're already in a situation where they can't step back and say, hey, wait a minute, isn't war bullshit? Why is this even happening? Who has failed us to get us to this point, and now you want us to put our lives on the lines? Are our families not important? Or our aspirations of continuing to breathe for decades into old age not as valuable as anybody else's? Mr. General, it seems to us, and to the 1,600 soldiers, that you may value the continuation of the system than of the health and safety of us all. At first, what I'm saying sounds like something cowardly or selfish, but I think it's a fair question to ask, and I think or wonder if the movie isn't also asking this as well. And I'll give you one example of why I think that might be possible. In the scene where one of the soldiers gets killed, it comes just after the main character finds a fresh pail of milk on a farm. That soldier fills up his canteen in the midst of terror, drama, and bloodshed. What we learn later on is that this canteen of milk ends up saving a French baby who is in desperate need of food towards the end of the movie. Now, on the one hand, that could be symbolic of, hey, just go down the path, the obstacle is the path, and along the way you'll find clues and opportunities which might not seem a big deal at the moment, but they will come into use down the road. But I think you could also make the argument that this moment is a reflection of a very strong embracement of life, i.e., the opposite of war and putting people into these situations in the first place. To me, it's a way of saying, above all else, we should be putting the health, safety, and well-being of all of our fellow human beings above everything else. And in the midst of this entire mess, when heroes and villains have opportunities to present themselves, in the middle of all this terror, death, and change, destructive change, we are reminded about life. The preservation of life, the continuation of life, and the hope that we might equate heroism not with a heroic gesture within the context of a bloody machine which grinds people up, but with the hope and ambition we should have for creating moments of beauty, empathy, and care. And as the story closes, after all that's happened, with the soldier back against the tree enjoying being alive, I wonder if there's a reflection upon these things. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you can, and join our Patreon, patreon.com/arthouseradio. See you next time.